Hello, everyone. Welcome to our next session of Avico Economic Forum. And today we have come up with a very interesting idea. We have named it Beyond Economics. So here we will be discussing few topics which are beyond economics, but which are very interesting. And today we have a very interesting person also to address us on the same topic. We have Archit Gokhale with us, who is an amateur astronomer who is studying in second year BCom, and he is very interested in astronomy, also possesses a great knowledge there. So Archit, over to you. Now he will be explaining us on the topic called eclipses around sun and moon, which is again a very interesting topic. And I hope Archit will do it more interesting for us. Thank you, Archit.
Thank you, Varat. I would first like to thank your discussion forum and Varat yourself for giving me this opportunity to present the interesting topic. So let's proceed with the presentation.
Yes.
We all have heard the topic or name called eclipse, but most of us have heard it in a negative way. Like there are many superstitions regarding eclipses, like we should not bath during eclipse, we should not watch the eclipse, or it affects pregnant women and so on. But there is nothing like that. Most of us don't know the scientific angle behind the eclipses, so I will try to share the scientific part of the eclipses with you. So I would like to start my PowerPoint presentation.
Sure, Archit. Please go ahead.
Hope the slides are visible.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So today our topic for the discussion is eclipses of the sun and the moon. So being the first session at your discussion forum regarding astronomy, I would like to introduce what astronomy actually is. So I
Yes.
have come across my friends who mistaken the word astronomy with astrology. They think that both the things are same or similar, but no, it is quite different. So the basic difference between astronomy and astrology is, so astronomy is the study of stars and planets by applying physics principles. And the topics which are covered under astronomy are, you can see on the screen, they are like possibility of extraterrestrial life. That means I have come across many people who ask the me questions like, do you believe in aliens or other
Hmm.
life on some other planets and so on. So this
Yes.
is the topic under the extraterrestrial life, or can we colonize other planets, like now NASA and SpaceX and all the
Yes.
companies are trying to set up their colonies on Mars or some other planets. So is there a possibility of colonizing other planets, or use of technology to study space and the topics related to astronomy? That means we all know that ISRO, NASA has been sending different types of satellites to build our communication, build our network, build our
Yes.
GPS facilities, and so on. So, use of technology in space is also a branch of astronomy, whereas astrology predicts the future with the help of horoscope. So we are mostly familiar with the word kundali, they say. So it is predicting someone's future with the help of stars and planets, obviously, but it is I will say it's more of a kind of social science than the proven science. I'm not saying astrology is not so good or something like that, but it's more of a social science and it is not proven on the basis of scientific facts. So this is uh, the major difference or primary difference between astronomy and astrology.
Great.
I would like to share the names of both these sciences in Marathi, so you will get the clear concept of it. So astrology is called as Jyotish, which means predicting someone's future or timekeeping.
Yes.
But astronomy is called as Khagol Shastra. Shastra is obviously science. Kha
Yes.
means sky. It's a Sanskrit or Marathi word, and goal means we all know it's a sphere. So Khagol Shastra means the science of sphere of the sky. So in this way, we
Perfect.
can
Yes.
get what is astronomy and astrology. And yes, today's topic, eclipse, is one of the most interesting and important phenomenon in astronomy. So let's proceed with it. And
Sure.
so the basic question, when and how eclipses occur? So we all know there are two types of eclipses. One is of the sun and other is of the moon. But there are many superstitions prevailing in the society about the eclipses, as I discussed a few minutes earlier. But it is just a play of shadows, mere play of shadows. I am sure that as a child, we all have experienced or played with the shadows. We sometimes switch on the torch in a darker room, then make some movements with our hands. We make some birds and certain things and project it on the wall.
Yes, yes.
So this is also a kind of shadow, right? Or another best example is that shadow of a tree. We all know that sunlight falls on the tree and it casts a shadow beneath on the ground. So it's a part of a shadow. So do we categorize those shadows as auspicious or inauspicious? So
No.
no, if
Hmm.
we say that it is just a shadow, so there is nothing bad, good, or superstitious about it. Similarly, eclipse is just a play of shadows, but instead of being it on the earth, the shadow play happens in the sky, and the active participants are the sun, the moon, and the earth. So now let's discuss in detail about this interesting shadow play. So the first part, as you can see in the diagram, please, I would like to focus on the laser pointer so that you get the diagram very easily. So this is the position of the sun. This the smaller one is the moon, and this is the earth. So this is the
Yes.
position of the sun, the moon, and the earth on a new moon day, or we are familiar with the term Amavasya or new moon day.
Hmm.
So you can see here in this particular diagram, the upper one diagram, the sunlight is coming from one side, it is getting obstructed by the moon, and the moon is casting a shadow on the surface of the earth. So as a result, the people staying in the areas on which the moon casts its shadow experience a type of eclipse called as solar eclipse. So
Yes.
for the people staying on the earth, they will, it appears that the sun is invisible to them, or sun is being eclipsed by the moon. And that's
Yes.
why we called it as a solar eclipse. So so just imagine for a second that the position of the moon is somewhere around here. The Please follow my laser pointer. So if the moon is at this particular point, do you think that it will cast a shadow on the surface of the earth?
No.
Yes, definitely not, because
Hmm.
sunlight will directly reach the earth without getting obstructed. So
Yes.
the first and most important thing for eclipse to occur is that the position should exactly be similar to the ones in the diagram. And this particular thing will happen only on a new moon day. So the basic, or what we can say, the golden rule of eclipse can be a
Yes.
solar eclipse always occurs on a new moon day.
Yes. Yes.
First, for
Very
solar eclipse
nice.
to
Hmm.
occur, you need this particular position, and this particular position will occur only and only on a new moon day. So the conclusion can be a solar eclipse always occurs on a new moon day. So let's
Yes.
get to the second diagram. You can see in this particular diagram, the sunlight is falling straight directly on the earth, and earth being an opaque object is casting a shadow in the space, and moon, which is rotating around the earth in this particular way,
Hmm.
is getting caught in the shadow of the earth. And as a
Yes.
result, for the viewers on the earth, we say that the moon is being eclipsed, or moon is not visible in the sky. So,
Yes.
and for that matter, let's take another example. Consider that moon is somewhere at this particular point, uh, at my laser pointer. So in at this particular scenario, the sunlight will fall on the earth, earth will cast a shadow, but moon will not get caught in the shadow of the earth, as it is standing in the in this particular position. and as a result,
Yes.
a lunar eclipse will never occur. So for lunar eclipse, we have to strictly maintain this particular position, and this that is the sun on one side, earth in the middle, and the moon exactly in the same plane but on the opposite side of the earth. And this particular position occurs only on a full moon day, that is Purnima. So the basic golden rules of eclipse we can say is that a solar eclipse will always occur on a new moon day and a lunar eclipse will always occur on a full moon day. So these are the basic rules of eclipses, and now we can understand how do eclipses occur on these particular days. And so this is the result why eclipses occur. So let's proceed with
Perfect.
the further. So I have written the same thing. On new moon, the moon comes between the earth and the sun. So the moon's shadow falls on the surface of the earth and a solar eclipse is seen. Similarly, on a full moon, the earth comes between moon and the sun. So earth shadow falls on the surface of the moon and we can see a lunar eclipse. So the basic question which everyone asks is that do you wonder how the moon obscures the entire sun in spite of being much smaller than the sun during a solar eclipse? So we have learned it since childhood that sun is like way bigger than the earth. It is almost 108 times bigger than the earth, or moon is, let's say, 1/6 times the earth size. So yes, we all are correct. So we can see it clearly in this particular picture that sun is very bigger than the moon. Then
Yes.
how do the moon covers or obstructs the entire sun during an eclipse? So the reason of that particular thing we are going to see it shortly. The sun is 400 times bigger than the moon. So right, correct? But the moon is 400 times closer to the earth than the sun. So we can compare it with a interesting situation in our day-to-day life. We all know that car is way smaller than an aeroplane, but aeroplane, when we see at a great distance up in the sky, we see just a point of source running across the sky, and we say, oh, that it is an aeroplane. It appears to be much smaller than a car which is besides us on the road. So we are able to see a car is way bigger than an aeroplane. But actually, if we all know that aeroplane is much or many times bigger than a usual car. So in this particular case, the situation is somewhat like that, but just look at the numbers. So one is 400 times bigger than the other, but the other is 400 times closer to us than the sun. As a result, as a combined effect of this particular both the things, the sun or the moon entirely covers the entire sun disk. So you can figure it out by mere observation. So you can just go out and see the sun disk. I'm not talking about the entire atmosphere, I'm just talking about the sun disk, and it will be exact similar size as of the moon, or as of the full moon.
Yes.
So we
Yes.
can go and practically see what it is. So I have just clicked both the pictures. So these both pictures are captured by me. So you can clearly see in this particular diagram that the apparent size, or the size which we can see from the surface of the earth, of both these objects is exactly the same, moon and the sun. And as a result, now you yourself has you have got your answer that in spite of being much smaller than the sun, the apparent distances are equal, and as a result, the this particular lunar disk can cover the entire sun disk and an eclipse can be observed from the earth.
Wow, that was interesting. The numerical facts were in fact unknown to me. Great.
Yes, yes. There are not many facts, but and we are not usually aware of it. But when we
Yes.
see it or listen or read it somewhere, then we are curious to know more about it. So
Yes, in
let's.
fact, we are left with so much curiosity that I believe almost all of our viewers will develop area of interest regarding this area.
Yes, yes, definitely. So now let's proceed to the types of eclipses. So if you see a calendar in your house, then they say today it is a Chaya Kalpagrahan, and they say that you should not adhere to the rules of the eclipses. In particular, Kala Nirnaya or so calendars, it is written Chaya Kalpagrahan Vedhadi Niram Palunayet or something like that. So there are different types of eclipses like Chaya Kalpa, Khagras, Khandagras, or in English we can say penumbral lunar eclipse, total lunar eclipse, partial eclipse. So let's understand what are different types of eclipses. But before going to that particular topic, we need to understand the basic concept, which is nature of Earth shadows. So let's proceed with it. We all know that sun is not a point source of light. It is an extended source of light. The basic difference between these two sources is there are many rays which are coming from the sun. Sunlight is not a single ray coming from the sun, right? It is not this particular ray. There are group of rays or many rays coming from the sun. So that when many rays come from an object, then it is called as extended source of light. So sun is definitely an extended source of light. We can see it in the picture as well, that there
Yes.
are lot of sun rays coming towards the earth. So you can just see in the picture the sun rays which are coming from the edges of the sun are getting obstructed by the earth and forming a conical shape or converging at this particular point, and they have created a darker shadow as compared to the other one, right? So the darker shadow is called as umbra, and the sun rays which are coming from the center of the sun, they are diverged at this particular point and they create a fainter shadow as compared to this one, and that particular shadow is called as penumbra. So the sun being a spherical source and not a point source, as we discussed, there are basically two types of shadows. The darker one is called as umbra, and the fainter one is called as penumbra. So let's and so we can see in this particular slide as well that the previous diagram has been copied here, but in this particular diagram we are cutting this diagram vertically at this particular point.
Yes.
You will get the reason why we are doing so, but just right, this is the same diagram as it is in the earlier slide, but we are just cutting it vertically to get a circular diagram. So
Oh,
you can
okay.
see, yeah, so you can see that this particular the fainter shadow is forming the larger circle and the darker shadow is forming the smaller circle or inner circle. So
Yes.
basically the fainter shadow is again called as penumbra and the darker shadow is again called as umbra. And since we are cutting this shadow vertically, it is called as vertical cross section of earth shadows. And this vertical cross section determines the types of eclipse. That's why we need to brush up this concept before going to the types of eclipses. So just keep it in mind that the fainter one is called as penumbra and the darker one is called as umbra. So it determines the type of eclipse C. So let's proceed with the types of lunar eclipses, that is eclipses of the moon. The first type of lunar eclipse is penumbral lunar eclipse. In this particular diagram, let me explain the diagram first. So this is the vertical cross section of earth shadows as which we have seen in the earlier slide. So this is the fainter shadow which is called as penumbra and the darker shadow is called as umbra. So we are just looking at this particular part of the shadow, and the dotted blue line is the path of the moon around the earth, and the yellow circle is the apparent position of the moon as seen from the earth. So you can see in this particular diagram that while traveling around the earth, moon is passing through the fainter shadow of the earth. You can see in this particular diagram. So this is the fainter shadow and moon is passing through this shadow,
Yes.
but it is
Yes.
not passing through the darker shadow, right? As you can see in the picture. So the fainter shadow is called as penumbra, which we have seen. And since moon passes only through the fainter shadow, this particular eclipse is called as penumbral lunar eclipse. And significance
Okay.
of this eclipse is like, so yes, sometimes the moon only passes through the penumbra without touching the umbra. So you can clearly see this in this particular diagram. So such eclipses are called penumbral eclipse. Penumbral eclipse is very difficult to discern by unaided eyes. So there is a reason behind it. I will share it shortly. So let's just look at how it appears, how it actually appears. So this is the 20th November 2002 penumbral lunar eclipse. And so this particular diagram is the real time diagram of that particular eclipse, which has been created by NASA. Obviously, I have just
Okay.
included it in my presentation for your understanding. So at on 20th November 2002, the apparent position of the moon was somewhat like that. It passed only through the fainter shadow of the earth. So you're sure that yes, it is a
Yes.
penumbral eclipse. It is not some other type of eclipse because it is not touching the darker part. It is only passing through the fainter part. So the photograph of the moon before eclipse started. So you might see that yes, it's normal moon, right?
Yes.
Full
Yes.
moon, and there is nothing special about it. So it is before the eclipse. Uh, and this photograph, the below photograph is of the moon during the penumbral lunar eclipse. So what you can conclude from it that there is no much difference between both the photographs. And this is
Yeah,
how
just the
a
upper
penumbral,
part is darkened a little bit, I
yeah,
guess.
yeah, yes, yes, sir, I'm
Yeah.
coming to the point. But prima facie or seeing it abruptly, you can say that yes, there is no much difference between both the photographs. But you can see it clearly in this particular part that the upper part of the moon is passing through the shadow. So it has to be eclipsed, right? The upper part is being eclipsed, and we can check or cross check it in the photograph captured by that particular scientist, that in the second photograph the upper part of the moon is appearing to be darker than the lower part, and the lower part appears to be brighter, which is not caught in the shadow of the earth, and that part is not being eclipsed. So such a eclipse is called as penumbral lunar eclipse. And in this particular photograph, the entire moon is bright enough because it is not passing through any of the earth shadows, and there is no eclipse at all. So basically, what as an amateur astronomer, what we can do is we don't let's say that amateur astronomers don't have all the equipments all the time. So what we suggest is that you just go and check the moon one day prior to the penumbral lunar eclipse, and just visualize and note down its brightness, that yeah, yes, the moon is appearing somewhat this much brighter. And then on the day of the eclipse, again watch the moon, and then you can compare it with the previous day's moon, and then you can say yes, that now today the moon is somewhat darker and the eclipse has been occurred. So in this
Yes. Yes.
particular way, amateur astronomer can observe penumbral lunar eclipse. So let's proceed with the further or next type of eclipse, which is partial eclipse. So in this particular diagram, you can see that the moon is passing through the fainter part, but also passing through the darker part of the shadow of the earth. So as the part of the moon is passing through the darker part of the earth's shadow, it is called as partial lunar eclipse. The part is passing through the shadow. So you can see that the moon not only enters the penumbra but also passes through the umbra, but it partially passes through the umbra, not entirely. And hence this particular eclipse is called as partial lunar eclipse. So a part, and yes, this is very easy and very much interesting to observe, as the moon appears reddish or deep gray. So let's have a look at how do the partial eclipse occurs, or how it appears. So this particular eclipse is of 4th June 2012. Yes, you can cross check whether it's an partial eclipse or not. So yes, you can clearly see that the part of the moon is passing through the darker portion. So it's a definitely a partial lunar eclipse. So let's look at the photographs of the moon. So we can clearly see that the half portion or the below portion of the moon, which is passing through the umbra, is clearly invisible in this particular photograph. And if we look at the moon during such type of eclipse, you can clearly see half of the moon or whatever. Only the uneclipsed part of the moon, and the eclipsed part will be totally invisible. So we can clearly figure it out that yes, eclipse has been occurred, and we can enjoy this particular type of eclipse without any, let's say, without any equipments or so. So now
Wow.
let's proceed with the next type of eclipse. Just a minute. So next type of eclipse is next type of eclipse is total eclipse. So by now you must have understood what a total eclipse might be, but just for definition, in this particular diagram, the moon is totally passing through the darker part. Earlier it was only partially passing through the darker part. In this particular type, it totally passes through the darker part of the shadow of the earth, and it is hence it is
Yes.
called as total eclipse. I suggest you, every one of you, to definitely observe this type of eclipse, as it is very beautiful to observe, and rather a very beautiful thing to experience as well. It is not just looking at the moon and go away. You can experience this particular type of eclipse, as I have witnessed many such eclipses. And you can see that the birds start chirping, they are back to their nests, and slowly the moon rises and it appears completely red. So you can enjoy the experience of this particular eclipse. So let's check how it appears. So this is 29th November, uh, the 1993 eclipse. So let's proceed. Yes, this particular type of eclipse is total eclipse, as the uh, moon is completely passing through the darker part of the earth. Yeah, this particular eclipse occurs, can be seen in this particular way. The moon is completely reddish in the color, and you can
Wow.
clearly differentiate between this type of eclipse, and we can definitely enjoy the experience of this particular eclipse.
That's
So
so nice.
let's quickly proceed further. So thus there are mainly three types of lunar eclipses. So this is just a summary. I will quickly pass through it. So yes, there are three types of eclipses: penumbral eclipse, partial eclipse, and total eclipse. So these are the photographs captured by me. So you can
Wow.
clearly see that the right side portion of the moon is darker than the left side portion in this particular eclipse, or in this particular photograph. So it is a penumbral lunar eclipse. In this particular photograph, you can see that the only the half or the part of the moon is being eclipsed. So it is a partial lunar eclipse. And in this particular photograph, you can see that the entire moon is being eclipsed or reddish in the color. So these all the three photographs have been captured by me.
Wow. That's really
So
great,
have you
Archit.
heard? Yeah, thank you. So have you heard about the blue blood moon eclipse? If
No.
so, what do you think the color of the moon might be? You can just
I
guess. Okay, okay. So let's discuss it about it later. So I will quickly brush up through the types of solar eclipses. So the basically the types of eclipses are same. That is partial solar eclipse. As we saw that the earth has two types of shadows, similarly any object has two types of shadows. So the moon also has two types of shadows. The fainter one is called as penumbra, darker one is called as umbra. Similar.
yes.
So when the earth passes through the fainter shadow of the moon, then that the people living in those particular areas experience partial solar eclipse. That means only the part of the sun is invisible, or let's say the part of the sun is obscured by the moon, and only half of the sun is visible. So you can
Yes.
clearly check in this particular photograph. I have captured this photograph.
Oh,
You can see that the entire solar disk is not visible. You can see entire solar disk is not visible. Only a part of it is visible and a part is invisible. So basically, the moon has covered the sun, or in technical language, you can say the moon has obscured the sun. So this is how a partial solar eclipse occurs. So this type is amazing, very much interesting. So we all know it is called as annular solar eclipse, but popularly known as diamond ring. We all have heard it a
yes,
lot
diamond
in
ring.
it. Yes.
Yes.
So this is just amazing. So you can check the basic reason of this particular eclipse is that the moon travels around the earth, but the orbit is not exactly circular. It is elliptical. So sometimes the earth is closer to the moon is closer to the earth, or sometimes it is far away from the earth. So when it is far away from the earth, you can clearly see that the umbra or the darker shadow ends at this particular point, but it is still not reaching the surface of the earth. And a smaller, fainter shadow is formed, which is called as ant umbra. And the people
Oh,
living in this particular ant umbra experience annular solar eclipse. So I have just
wow.
written here whatever we discussed, and yes, we all know it is amazing to experience that particular eclipse.
Wow.
So you can clearly see that the sun appears to be a ring with a studded diamond, and so it is generally called as or referred to as diamond ring or the ring of the fire, and so on.
It will be a great experience to witness such eclipses.
Yes,
I
it's
have never
amazing
taken
experience
them
to
so
witness.
seriously before you explained them so well.
Yeah, thank you. Now let's quickly proceed to the further type of eclipse. And so this particular eclipse is very predictable or easy to understand. When the entire sun is getting covered by the moon, then that type of eclipse is called as total solar eclipse. So you can clearly see that. So the atmosphere of the sun, which is visible during a total solar eclipse, is called as corona. And when we look at the sun during usual days, we are not able to see the atmosphere of the sun, right? Because we
Yes.
cannot stare at the sun for a longer period of time. But only during total solar eclipses, as the major portion of the sun is being blocked by the moon, we are able to see this corona. So it is best time for astronomers to study this particular atmosphere of the earth, and this has a lot of significance in the science of astronomy. It traces back to the what will be the approximate age of the sun, and
Wow.
then approximate age of the earth, approximate of age of the solar system, and so on. So there are a lot of astronomers currently researching on this particular part, which is called as corona. So
Great.
it is amazing to observe, again you can say it is very much amazing to experience this type of eclipse, as this type of eclipse creates complete darkness in the city where this particular type of eclipse occurs. It is so dark that we can able to see the nearby stars and planets, as well as it is almost night time. It gets
Oh,
completely dark, and even the temperature starts falling, as or we can say shortly that the scenario is similar to the night. So
yes, yes.
the birds feel that like this type it's night time, so they return back to the trees, they start chirping, then temperature falls down, we can see nearby stars and planets. So it is amazing to experience total solar eclipse. Let's proceed further. uh, Hybrid solar eclipse is basically when on at the time of single eclipse we can see multiple eclipses. So for example, earth is a sphere, right? So in this particular point you can see that the umbra is ending in the space, and umbra is created. So at this particular
Yeah.
point, you will see a
Diamond ring.
annular eclipse or diamond ring. At
Yeah.
this particular point, you will see a total eclipse, and again at this particular point, you will see a diamond ring. So when such situation happens, then it is called as hybrid solar eclipse. Like multiple types of eclipses in a single day. So hybrid solar eclipse.
Great.
Now let's so yes, these are the photographs of eclipses captured by me. So this is the
Superb.
recent 21st June eclipse. I have captured it from Mulund only. And this is the series or the complete eclipse period. So this was the maximum view from Mumbai, and we can see
Okay.
the series in this particular picture. At 10 a.m. the eclipse started, then slowly moon started obscuring the sun, and again the eclipse ended at almost 1:30 p.m. And this is
Wow.
the photograph of the ring of fire captured by one of our teammate.
Wow. Was that visible from our location?
No, the diamond ring was visible only from the northern India and not.
Okay.
Uh, yeah. So our team went there, and they captured this particular photograph from Mumbai, Thane, or let's say for entire Maharashtra. Only this particular view was possible. So we had a partial solar eclipse. So these are the eclipse resources. We can just check these links and get interesting information. You don't need to attend, or you don't need any prior knowledge about the topic. It has interesting diagrams and such things, or you can just uh, log on and check the location, put your location and check what all eclipse you can see, when you can see, what will be its type, and so on. So it's
Yes.
a user friendly site. It's not too technical with formula and like that. So you can definitely observe this type of eclipses anyway.
Yes.
I think we had yes, so we can clearly see that in you can always visit these websites and get more information about the eclipses. So let's proceed. So there are various books regarding eclipses, and one is written by seniors in my organization. This book is available in nearby all the bookstores. Even my book, which I have authored, the name is Celestial Sights and Insights. You can get the basic information or some interesting facts about the eclipses in my book as well. So you can definitely check it in the books and as well as on the internet as per
That's
your.
superb, Archit.
Yeah, so these are some of the eclipses which are visible in India in the future. So I will just let you know the possible all the types of eclipses. So the next annular solar eclipse, so the diamond ring, is visible on February 17, 2064. So very long times. These type of eclipses are really very rare. The partial solar eclipse, where part of the sun is visible and part is not visible. So this type of eclipse is visible on October 25, 2022. So yes, you can definitely observe this type of eclipse. It's
Yes.
the nearest eclipse. Then the total lunar eclipse. It is visible on September 7, 2025. And the partial lunar eclipse, where the half of the moon is visible, half is not. It is visible on November 8, 2022. So basically, you can see that the partial solar eclipse and partial lunar eclipse are occurring
Yes. They're
well.
occurring, but these are just around the corner. We can remember them now. Yeah.
Yes, you can definitely observe these eclipses. And next partial lunar eclipses will occur on May 5, 2023. And there is an interesting information about eclipses that eclipse never comes alone. They say that eclipse never comes alone. So when a solar eclipse occurs on a new moon day, the lunar eclipse has to occur on the either of the two consecutive full moon days. So within the gap of 15
Okay.
days. You can clearly see in this particular type of eclipse that a partial solar eclipse will occur on October 25. So it has to be a new moon day, and we in the let's say only a gap of 15 days or so, you can clearly see a lunar eclipse occurring on a full moon day on November 8. So we
That's
can
an
prove
amazing fact. Yeah.
that eclipse never comes alone in this particular dates. let's proceed further. So there are basically some restrictions for viewing a solar eclipse, and when we talk of observing eclipse or getting information, so this is the must to protect ourselves. Lunar eclipses do not require any restrictions. We can clearly see lunar eclipse at any point at any point from the earth without any equipments with naked eye.
Yes.
Solar eclipses require some precautions. So the first thing is, please don't use these particular equipments without proper filter. Many of us think that the sunglasses are fine, or let's say sunglasses are okay to view by eclipse, but no, you should not use any of these devices. It may damage your device as well as your eyesight, so it has serious consequences. So please don't use without proper filters, obviously. The best thing you can do is use a pinhole camera. So you can cut a small hole in the center of a cardboard, place a white paper just behind it, and you can project the image of the sun on this particular white paper, so you can see eclipse, right? So this is the sun and this is the moon, so you can clearly see
Yes.
the
Yes.
eclipse without much efforts. And cardboards are very easily available to us. It doesn't require any type of equipment, nor it's costly. So this is the best thing to observe a solar eclipse. And yes, the direction should not be towards the sun, it should be towards the projected white paper. So, and definitely you can use eclipse goggles and filters. So for photography, I personally use a solar filter, which I attach to my DSLR camera and photograph the eclipses. So the all the eclipses which I have captured are using these particular filters. And the interesting part is solar goggle. So yeah, solar filter is somewhat expensive because it is generally used by astronomers. But just for time, let's say just as a hobby or just for viewing it, you can use eclipse goggles. I think
Yes.
is available in nearby stores as well as on online stores, and the cost is not more than 100 rupees, so it's
Okay,
okay
that's
to.
good. So
Yeah,
that everyone has an opportunity to watch the eclipse.
correct, correct.
Yeah.
So the eclipse goggles are really very easy to buy, and the best part is that you don't need to wait for eclipse to buy these particular goggles. you
Yes.
can you can buy it anytime and just look at the sun, and you can see a ringed proper disk of the sun.
Yes. Yes.
If we look at the sun with unaided eye or not without filters, let's say, then we are not able to see the disk, or rather we cannot watch at the sun. We
Yes.
just see light part, and then we cannot see further. So you can use goggles to observe sunspots. Sunspots are the black colored spots on the sun. So we can discuss about it, like why do they occur, what are sunspot cycles and so on sometime later. But you can
Sure.
definitely the solar flares that are storms on the surface of the sun, the corona part which we discussed, using these particular goggles. I strongly recommend you to buy these particular goggles anytime and enjoy watching at the sun in the daytime, and obviously they help us a lot during eclipses. So wishing you clear skies and happy observations. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Archit. Thank you.
uh, so shall we, so if you want to discuss something we can, or
Yes, definitely, Archit. First of all, thank you so much for accepting our invitation and giving such an amazing lecture.
uh,
Yes.
discuss this particular topic on your platform.
Yes. First of all, I would like to know how did you get the curiosity in your childhood itself to learn about astronomy? Because most of the people of our age are indulged into some other activities. We are into games and all, but this hobby is really rare, and the achievements that you have made are
Yes,
really phenomenal.
actually, I was was just interested in looking at the night sky full of stars, which we all are definitely. But we generally correlate astronomy with science. Like when someone asks about astronomy, then we think that there are lots of difficult scientific principles, lots of difficult science formulae, calculations, or we need to do engineering, or we need to pursue science as a career. And then most of us think, "Arey, hoga ya nahi, it will be a bit
Yeah.
difficult, or will we understand those all those critical formulas, principles?" So it's not like that. As I said, or we take many sessions on observational astronomy, that you can just go and look at the stars and enjoy. And as I discussed earlier, that there are many topics which are in our day-to-day lives, Uttarayan, Dakshinayan, or the high tides, low tides, which are influenced by the gravitational pull of the moon. So
Yes.
there are just basic formulae, or which are mostly derived by mere observation. You don't need difficult principles, calculators, and so on. By mere observation, you can predict the high tide, low tide time, and we do this exercise. You can predict the latitude of your place just by
Wow.
looking at the sun and nothing else. So
That's
what is shows us 19 degree, 20 degree, whatnot, and so we can predict it. I have carried this experiment on in, I think, 2017 September, to find the latitude of the Mulund at my place, without any calculations, by mere observation, and I predicted it almost accurately, with a marginal or negligible error of just zero point 0.5 degrees.
wow.
So you can definitely do this. And when someone tells you such information, then you can think, yes, you don't need some difficult, or you don't need to pursue that as a career only, and then
Yes.
interest can be developed.
Yes, exactly. As Archit said, I also personally believe that if you have some hobby, then it should not be associated with any particular stream. It should be associated with your heart, your interest. And as Archit said, the astronomy is for everyone. And it proves everything. It is just an amazing field which Archit has been associated with since so many years. Also, as Archit has mentioned during the presentation, that he has been an author of a book called Celestial Sights and Insights. So that book is must read for all the amateur astronomers, and also for them who want to build their interest in astronomy at a young age, as well as who are afraid of going for science stream, just so as they are left with no other option to leave their hobby of astronomy. So thank you so much, Archit. People like you, when come to our forum, definitely add a great value to this discussion forum. And similarly, we would like to have more such conversations with you in coming future.
Yes, definitely. I would like to thank you for inviting me to your forum. And yes, we will definitely do a lot of such sessions. Also, I would like to join your forum on economic discussions as well, and on
Definitely.
the topics as well. So yes, looking forward for many more sessions with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Arshit, for joining. Also, thanks to our viewers. Please keep in touch with our channel. We will be uploading more such videos that is beyond economics as well as regarding economics. The next video which is coming up to the channel is the recession 2008 versus recession 2020. So be notified, be updated. Thank you so much for watching.